Hello everyone and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. So you guys really liked the last one I did where we made the forest colony from Cattails, and a lot of you guys have been saying that you'd like to see me make both the other colonies and the player cats as well. I saw a lot more people asking about the player cats, and so I decided I'm going to go ahead and do that first. So we'll be making Dusty, Larkin, and Oberon today. And at some point here, what that'll mean is that then we can take the player cats and simulate, because one thing you can do that I don't know if I've shown before is you can actually take this play with genetics thing, and we don't actually have another cat we could put in here for the other parent, but we could take, let's say this will be Dusty eventually, we're going to turn that into Dusty, but we could take Dusty and we could import Scout from the forest colony, and we could simulate what their genetics might look like and try to make their kittens and see how accurate it is, and then maybe mess around with it a little bit if it could be more accurate than that. So, we'll have to see if you guys want to see that, because a lot of you guys have said that you do, and so we're not going to do that right now. Right now we're just going to make the player cats, and a lot of you guys have been saying, oh, we could do that with Larkin and Arthur and see if we can maybe get a preview of what their kittens would look like if they haven't had kittens by the time that we get around to that. And I think it's just a great idea, and so I'm going to be making the other colonies eventually as well. A lot of you guys are saying Wolf Quest wolves. There's a lot of options. I bet we could even make lynxes in this if we tried harder, if we found a way of trying. I don't know how... I don't know. I'd have to try and get more familiar with a lynx and its proportions, because I don't think there's a preset for it. We have, if we look at the breeds, we have, I think there's raccoons. Yeah, you can have raccoons. But I don't know that we have lynxes. We have the Savannah cat, which is kind of like, that's like, I think a mix of, I think that's the one that's a mix of a house cat and an ocelot, or serval, I believe, actually. There's one that's a mix of a house cat and an ocelot, I think. There's a few that have been mixed with small cat breeds and such. And, so we could do something like that if we could figure out how to make a lynx in this. We could even do our shelter 2 lynxes. It'll be kind of hard to figure out any of the other series, I think, but if you guys have other series, we could do foxes. We have foxes if we make dogs. We could do the foxes from Ultimate Fox Simulator. There's a lot of things we could do. So if you guys have other ideas, make sure to keep putting them in the comments, because you guys have had some really cool ones. But so far, we're going to just go ahead and get started with trying to make the player cats that we have in game in The Sims 4 here. And of course, I will be putting these up for download afterwards, so you can download them and put them in your games as well if you want. So I think I'm looking mostly for proportions right now, and I actually really like that look. Dusty does not have a canon breed. I expect he probably does have some Russian blue in him, but he doesn't really have a canon look, or a canon breed. But I actually like this body shape, and what we could do then is we could go change the coat color. If we look at the Russian blue, there's 2 options, and if we do this, does that look like him? That kind of does look like him, actually. What about this option? This is what we use for Doc, and there's also... this one's pretty good, too. How does that compare to this? This one's a little lighter and has more texturing. I kind of like this idea, though. I kind of like the solid colored one, because he is a pretty solid colored cat. Although, if we change this, maybe... actually, that's kind of a cool look. I kind of like that look, actually. I think we're gonna go with that. So he has, let's start with ears. I like those ears, I think. His nose is going to be dark colored, probably. And, let's see, his whiskers are slightly darker, and a lot of you guys are laughing that I mixed these up with the white whiskers. They look the same, though. There's no indication that these are dark on there, and I just wasn't looking when I looked at him. But he's gonna have, I think, slightly grayer whiskers, maybe? More like that. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a little grayer whiskers, because I have pictures of all of them up here, and I'm looking at their looks, and I think that's more what we're gonna be seeing with that. So for the eyes, he has these nice green eyes. Yeah, that looks really nice, actually. And then maybe I'll play with the eye shape a little bit. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. How does that compare to what we had originally? Do I like that better or do I like that worse? I kind of like that bit better, I think, actually. And then, of course, there's paint mode, but I don't think we're going to be using that with him because he really doesn't have any super complicated markings. But we're going to look at the clothing here and just see what they have because, of course, oh my goodness, they have the little sweaters. So this is kind of like his winter sweater. So if you guys are wanting to put him in your game, but you want him to have a nice winter look, you could always do, this blue one here, on the, for me, it's the bottom left. So that's a nice one, but I don't think I'm going to put him in his winter look just by default. What I do want to see is, do they have a scarf? Because he always wears that scarf. I don't think they do. That's a little disappointing. If we look, I mean, we could, he could put his head in the sandwich. That's fine. My goodness. There's a shark head. There's so many funny things. And then, of course, this adorable top hat. A lion's mane. That's like a neon blue lion's mane. Oh my goodness. That's funny. And then there's like a t-shirt. We could put him in a taco. A taco. That one's just a taco, I think. There's like, oh, is that samurai armor? Oh my goodness. That's kind of cool, actually. We can make him into a samurai. I don't think that really fits his character, though. But so I'm not going to put him in a sweater right here. But if you do want to, this dark blue one seems to work pretty nicely in comparison to Canon. So unfortunately, they don't have a scarf we could give him. If any of you guys know of a mod that does that, though, I'd love to hear about it. And I could do a version that has that. And other than that, though, I think that... Oh, no, we have to do his traits, though. So his name is Dusty. He is not a Bengal. He is a mixed breed. He probably does have Russian blue in there somewhere, but I don't know what he's mixed with. And let's take a look. He's not spoiled. Definitely not spoiled. I'd say he's a free spirit because he does enjoy wandering quite a bit. Although he's kind of chilled out a little bit in more recent episodes of the playthrough, which if you haven't seen that, you can, you should go look that up because, we have over 70 episodes now. We're almost to 80 episodes of this playthrough now, and it's been quite the adventure. I'd say he's friendly. Yeah, I'd say he's friendly, because he is pretty friendly to the other cats in the colony, at least, and, he's not unfriendly to those outside of it. He is pretty clever. He's definitely curious. He is fairly frisky as well, and playful, maybe Prowler. Honestly, would Prowler be better? Prowler might be better than Free Spirit, I think. And then, let's see, he's not fluffy. I wouldn't call him overly affectionate. He definitely is affectionate to Scout, but this is more applying to the Sims, I think. And he's not aloof. I'd say he's probably... He is clever, and he is curious. He's not a glutton, he's not spoiled, he's not talkative. Or not excessively, anyway. And not skittish. It's either curious or clever. I'd say... I'm going to give him clever because I think he is a pretty fast learner. And so that'll be his traits, but then I also want to look at... Oh, we have him set to female right now. That's not good. Dusty is canonically male. And there's no other cats we could add relationships with anyway. That's kind of a scratchier meow. Almost. I almost like that. Almost. I don't know, maybe that's really high-pitched. Either that or the scratchy one is going to be... I kind of like that. I feel like he does have a higher-pitched meow, but not like an overly clear one. Like, not the super clear one. So I kind of like that for him. So I think that's going to go ahead and be Dusty here. Yeah, I really like how he turned out, I think. So let's go ahead and next up we're going to add pet, we're going to add a cat, and we are going to add Larkin, and that is a very fluffy cat with really cool eyes. Larkin is a little bit fluffier, I think. That's, what breed is that even? That's an American wire hair. British short hair? No. I'm looking at the body type right here more than I'm looking at, the coloration, because we can always change the coloration. Maybe. I don't super like the fur. That's, what is that? Chartreuse. Alright. I'm probably not even pronouncing that right. All you cat lovers out there, or cat, I guess not just cat lovers, but cat enthusiasts who are into learning about it are probably yelling at me for pronouncing that wrong. Maine Coon. These guys are really big. Let's see. I'm not so keen on the looks of the face. But maybe if we change the face. What about Norwegian forest cat? Let's see. Maybe. Maybe. Possibly. The face, again, there's really... It kind of flattens out, and I'm not sure I like that so much. I like it a little bit more... Being a little bit more pronounced. That's actually kind of a cool look, except the face, I think, is a little too narrow. We could do something like this for our lynxes, though, if we have that. Do they have... If we look on the tail, they do have the option to have a shorter tail, so if we did make a lynx, we could do something with that. So that is a possibility as well. Where do we have... This is an Oriental Longhair. That's right here. No, that's the Norwegian forest cat. Right here. She's not really a short hair. That's kind of cool, though. A ragdoll, maybe? That might... Well, maybe... Is that too fluffy, or is that not too fluffy? That's too fluffy. A Siberian? That's kind of... Oh gosh. It's gonna hack up a hairball. Oh, right there, right in front of the camera. A Turkish Angora. I don't really like the... Oh my goodness, what? What? You just did a poo. I'm gonna go back and use the Oriental Longhair as a base, and then we're gonna mess around with some of the proportions and such, because I don't like the head shape, but overall I think the body shape is pretty decent. But first I want to see, do we have, this is, okay, we could change the coloration on this. So the black is definitely good, but I think this is also going to be black. And if we do this, maybe, no, not so much. Not quite, maybe. What about this one? If we turn that to this? Maybe, actually. Maybe. Let's put this, I want it to be a little bit blue or silvery. Something like that, maybe? Maybe. That might be too blue. Actually, that looks pretty decent. Yeah, so we're gonna mess around with her proportions in a little more detail right here. I kind of want to widen, no, I want to change your head shape, though, because that's the only thing that's bothering me here, I think. That's actually a lot better. We can also do this head shape, maybe? No. This head shape is definitely the one I want to go with. I'm going to give her a little bit more pronounced facial fur. And that's as far as it goes. I don't want to move her head up too much. And then she does have blue eyes, which are going to be better, though. I think I'm going to give her those. And then, yeah, I like how that looks. I'm going to shrink in her chest a little bit, maybe. And maybe make her a little skinnier, because I don't want her to be that fluffy, really. And I want to make her tail fluffier. There's only 2 types of tails, aren't there? We could change her body type as well, I think. That's even fluffier, and that's even a little skinnier. I kind of like that. Oh, but then the legs are really skinny. Those are really skinny legs, my goodness. Okay, I think that's going to be a little better, but we could just shrink this in maybe a slight bit. I also want to look at her ears a little and see. I kind of like these, but I want to see, those are really long, really short, really small. I kind of like the rounded ones a little more. Or the slightly more rounded ones. I like that idea, actually, quite a bit. I really like that, yeah. I'm going to shrink her neck down just a little bit so that it's not super thick. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good to me. I really like that shape. And so her name is Larkin. And she is also a mixed breed. And she might be playful. I would say she's definitely friendly. Definitely friendly. And, because she has been. She's a pretty sweet cat overall. And she's probably not mischievous. Oops. She's not really aloof. She might be fluffy, but I feel like we could put that into other personality traits more than, just a trait that's gonna make her throw up a lot. She might be clever. She might be affectionate, maybe. She's curious, I think. I think she is curious. I'm trying to give her different traits from Dusty, but she is pretty similar to him in a lot of ways. She's not really talkative, skittish, or spoiled. She's kind of a feisty cat, but I don't really know how to show that here. That maybe would be the closer to the aloof trait. She's not really frisky. She's not a glutton. She's not overly playful. She's not skittish or spoiled or talkative. She's not really mischievous, not lazy, not frisky. She might be a free spirit. I think we're going to put free spirit. And so that'll give her so friendly, curious, and free spirit. And Dusty is friendly, prowler, and clever. So that still does give quite a bit of distinguishing characteristics there. The other thing I want to do is I want to, okay, her gender's set properly. I want to give her a meow. I think she has a clearer meow. I like that meow. I like that meow quite a bit, actually. Yeah, I really like that. So I think that's pretty good, and then you can set relationships, but I don't think we're going to. So, yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and say that is good for Larkin. So, lastly, and I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do this, because right now he looks a little different. We're going to add another pet. We'll add a cat. That's actually a really cool look. We might roll with this and go from there. I'm not entirely sure how to portray Oberon, because right now he has a different coat in game than I originally imagined him with. So I want to change the ears. We might shrink them down a little bit and bring them sideways a little and make them a little wider. There we go. But I actually like this look quite a lot, except I don't like the tail. It's really not his final look, though, what he currently has in game. He has the mottled brown, but ideally I want it to be a sort of grayish, tabby kind of color like this, like we have in the thumbnail picture for anybody who stopped and looked at his markings there. So I actually really like that, and they already got... what color are Larkin's whiskers? They don't show up very well in the picture I have of her here. But I feel like she has white whiskers and maybe long whiskers. Maybe just medium whiskers. Let's give her just medium whiskers. And Oberon, I actually like his whiskers here. For his nose color, I think the pink works nicely. I kind of want to play around with the coat colors, though. We have kind of this paler one. We could change it to a couple different colors. That's kind of like the base tone. I actually like this as the base tone, though. I actually really like that look, which is surprising because it fit really well, just straight up randomly generated. Yeah, that actually worked out really, really well. And this is pretty similar to my original imagining of him. Now, he's probably going to end up looking ultimately more like Scout in-game. We'll probably end up using that coat for him, but I kind of have been exploring other options just to see. So for now, I'm going to go with the this as his current rendition. And so maybe later on I'll make additional ones of Oberon and maybe go through his different code iterations and just kind of see. But I actually really like this look for him right now. So his name is Oberon. And he's male. And I think he's got probably a gruffer meow. Maybe not quite that deep. I feel like that's more his meow. He has kind of a gruff meow. I've had people asking also if he and Larkin know each other, because Oberon has been venturing up to Mountain Domain quite a bit lately. They likely know each other, but I wouldn't exactly call them friends, because Larkin tends to be quite... She puts a lot of stock in what Arthur thinks, and Arthur and Oberon haven't really gotten along, and so I imagine she's kind of wary of him. So they do know each other, but they're not exactly friends right now. So I think we gotta give him territorial, because he's not really a friendly cat. Let's just say that nicely. He's pretty brash and kind of gruff, and he's a little bit... He's not the nicest cat, although he has been learning a little bit more. I wouldn't say... He's also aloof. He's definitely aloof. He's probably... could be clever. Could be fluffy, but again, I want to save that for more personality traits. Curious, maybe. Free spirit, possibly. Frisky, maybe mischievous. Maybe mischievous. I think I want to give him the mischievous trait, oh gosh. Because I think that's I think he does have a little bit of a mischievous side down there. Once he actually gets used to cats, I feel like he could be a bit of a prankster, perhaps. So I think this is pretty good for Oberon and his looks and his personality. So let's look at the cats one more time, and then I think I'll go ahead and post these guys to the gallery and put this video up for you guys a little later on. So this is Dusty. He's pretty standard solid color here, and I honestly, he's not he doesn't have a lot of markings, but he's a pretty nice cat. He's friendly, he's a prowler, and he's clever. And then we have Larkin, who is a little bit fluffier. The other two are much fluffier. I feel Dusty is definitely a short hair, which is part of the reason he wears a sweater in the winter. Side note on pet clothes, I'm not entirely opposed to them. If your pet likes it, that's one thing. My dog has enjoyed some clothes, and my cat, actually, Beanie, Jellybean, likes to wear a cape, believe it or not. But some cats can benefit, and some small dogs too especially can benefit from having clothes in the wintertime if they have a really short fur and might be cold. So just because a cat or dog is wearing a sweater doesn't necessarily mean it's spoiled, but a lot of bigger dogs and a lot of longer haired cats, especially if they're indoor, don't really need them. So there can be a time and place for a sweater. So just because an animal is wearing clothes doesn't necessarily mean they're super spoiled or anything. Sometimes it is helpful. But again, it's going to depend on if your cat or dog doesn't like clothes. Might be best not to put them in it unless they really, really need it. But anyway, a little bit of a segue there. So we have Larkin, who is a friendly, curious, and free spirit cat. And she is a black tabby here. I really like how her markings look too. They're honestly really neat. And, of course, she has blue eyes. They all have different eye colors. That was one thing I tried for, is I wanted to make them pretty distinct in a lot of ways. So then, next up we have Oberon, who is a little bit less fluffy than Larkin. Larkin's probably the fluffiest, I think. And then, he's still a fairly large cat, though. He is also a mixed breed. He has... Oh, I should play the meows as well. So he has a scratchier meow. She has a bit more of a higher-pitched musical meow. And he has a higher-pitched but slightly scratchier meow. And then he is a territorial, aloof, mischievous cat, which I think does fit him quite well. It's hard to distill a cat's detailed personality down into just a few traits. But, yeah, I feel like out of what Sims offered, those do fit him pretty well. So that is Oberon, and this is, again, based off the look that I drew for him in the thumbnail, which eventually he'll probably in-game end up looking a lot like Scout. But the game doesn't, it has quite a few different coats, but there's not really a gray tabby, and I always picture him as more of a gray tabby, and so this is a little bit closer to my original imagining of him. Again, if you guys want to see different iterations of Oberon's coat after we've tried out a few different things, then I can always post an updated version with different coats for him, because we have had quite a few. But for now, I think we're going to go ahead and just leave this one as the current one. So yeah, that has been the current player cats that we have right now. I hope you have enjoyed seeing them come to life here, and just kind of my rendition of how I feel they look. And we'll have to do this again sometime in the future. Maybe next time I'm thinking we might end up playing with Dusty and Scout's potential kittens, and seeing how close the Sims genetic calculator will get to the kittens that we have in-game. So anyway, though, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget you can find the download links for this pack in the description. And I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.